What's good, y'all? Welcome in. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like. Our percent of the days. We'll get started here in just a moment. What's good, y'all? We're gonna get started here in just a moment. Make sure you hit that like. Make sure you drop them percent of the days. We got some stuff to talk about today.
The Weekly Blend, live every week. Fragrance, culture, conversation.
What's good, y'all? What's good? What's going on? What's happening? What's crack-a-lacking? How we doing this evening? This is Tuesday. Good to see everyone. Thanks for popping in to the Weekly Blend. This is what we are calling every Tuesday night that we come on live. Let me get this music down just a little more. That way it's not interfering. There we go. All right, listen, let's talk. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a good day, good week, good time. It's been an interesting week. It's been an interesting week for me. But I want to check in with y'all. Let's see what's going on. Let's first, of course, go through comments. I checked and made sure I've got my audio up, so we're good there. Let's kind of go through and just see. I know Joel, of course, is first one up to bat. Joel's Scent of the Day is a Tar Collection Cult Tat Night. Not familiar with that, but if Joel is rocking it, it's got to smell good. Got to smell good. Got to smell good. Rob, good to see you. Thank you. Did you get the package? Just want to make sure. Good to see you, my friend. Twizzy, what's up, my guy? Good to see you. Scent of the Day for Rob, Virtuoso Heroic. There we go. SVT says, ease to my fragrance friends. Good to see you, my guy. Excellent. Good to see you. All right. What's cracking, Pastor K? Scent of the Day. Beef and more Forbidden Temptation. Excellent. And it's been interesting. Y'all call me Pastor, call me Rev. I'm going to address some of that today because y'all going to get a parable today. Y'all getting a parable today. All right. Scent of the Day for Twizzy. Scent of the Day is Vulcan Black Friday 10 ml decant. I got the bottle back there. What do you think about it, man? Because it's definitely, it's nice. It's not anything, in my opinion, that is just like everybody got to have, but it's a nice scent. It's definitely nice. My wife enjoyed it. My wife was digging it. So yeah, definitely a good one. Hey, Kevin, you saved my life on the live. Hey, that's what I like to do. Just help people out. Exactly. Scent Boss, evening. Says, evening, everyone. Scent of the Day is Almost Dawn by Bottega Veneta. Excellent. Smelling good there, my guy. SVT Haynes says, Scent of the Night is Ralph's Club New York, which is a banger, and that it is. Yes, it is definitely a banger. Definitely a nice one. Definitely a good one to tag along in. Let's see what else we got here. Rob says, yes, you did. Okay, good. Excellent. Frankie J says evening scent of the day is the Kingdom Latafa. That is, I need to probably tag back into that. That was definitely my scent for 2024 moving into 2025 as far as winter. It definitely was it. Definitely was it. All right. Jerome says, I wish you a great day. Keep up the good spirit. Bless you. Thank you, my friend. Bless you too. Excellent. Excellent. D-Main says, what up, Kevin in chat? Burnt my nose out sampling a lot yesterday. Went with something easy today. Scent of the day is Mont Blanc Star Walker. Yeah. Very easy reach, very easy to take on and what have you. Excellent. 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 One Accord Network. Good to see you. What's up? What's popping? Excellent. JJ Bishop, what's up? What's good, my friend? Good to see you as well. Yeah, it's nice, not full bottle worthy, but keep buying the decant from time to time. Yeah, I mean, I got the full bottle just because I got it on a Black Friday special at that time. So definitely, I definitely get that. Definitely get that. C Clem 4921 says, the scent of the day is Fight to the Death by Yaman Leo. Which one is that? Let me look up and see which one that is, because I'm not that familiar with it. Probably need to tap back in with Yaman Leo sometime soon. Let's see what that is. Fight to the Death. That is their take of Arrigo's Perseus Triumphant. Okay. Definitely. Let's see what that is. Amen. All right. Good deal. Simone, good to see you. Says, hey, Love Muffin. Scent of the day is Tahitian Vanilla Body Oil. Yes, 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 yes. Everybody's saying good. What's up? Walt, what's good, my friend? Good. What's popping? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, my scent of the day today is, I got these in. They had a deal where it was like buy two, get one free. So I got the remaining of the ones that I want from the line. I've already got chemistry back there. I've got some Tenemels of pretty much everything, but this is one that I hadn't had a chance to actually pick up yet, but it is Beau Noir from the House of Savoir Faire. And those of you that are Gen Xers like me, you might remember it, because every time I say Savoir Faire, I think of the old cartoon. Savoir Faire is everywhere. Yeah, all right, yeah, that's what I remember. But this is Beau Noir, amber, patchouli, some oud, some cinnamon, some eucalyptus, some musk. Definitely a nice spicy fragrance that definitely works, definitely rocks, definitely does what I need it to do. All right. Let's see. Fat Boy Finesse is saying he's wearing Mason Asrar Vanguard. Very nice, very nice. Go back up. Jims is in the building. Jims, good to see you, my guy. Scent of the day is Nazar Black Leopard, and of the night is Hidden Temptations. Listen, let's make sure we got everybody. Purpose 50 with Trifle Back is very nice, Bishop. Very nice. All right. My guy Jason is in the building as well. Friday Commons of Business. Very good to see you, my guy. All right. Let me kind of start. Let me get my things up here that I need to get. I think this is the one. Yeah, let's go there. All right. I know if you're watching on the vertical, it's probably going to look a little crazy. That's okay. But for the rest of y'all, so some of you all have kind of in the chat already said, hey, Pastor Kev, hey, Rev, what have you. So for those of you that don't know, I am a full-on ordained pastor. My wife and I had a church, full-on church for 8 years. We've been in ministry. If I call the name of some of the churches and ministries, or at least one that we've been a part of and have been connected to, many of you would probably know that ministry that we were at one point connected to before it became what it is now. So I've been in church space. And so for you all to pick up on that, I think I mentioned a few times, but to call me that, recognize that, cool. I am ordained, elevated, affirmed as an apostle. All of that's great as far as church stuff. And if I'm honest, one of the things that I've kind of wanted to make sure is I didn't want to come over on this side of into FragCom, be overly preachy and what have you, but that's who I am as far as ministry, right? And so one of the things I think that in this space I've become a little more comfortable with is, of course, just being authentically myself in every area that I can, right? And what that means as far as Fragcom is, that's why you all have seen things like First Note, First Thought, because it's my way of, one of the things that I do as a pastor, as ministry, even with what my wife and I do right now, is I try to provide wisdom. I try to provide insight. I try to provide those things that are going to help you. I live by a model, as it were, of live better, love better, be better, and lead better. Those are the four kind of tenets of my life, is to live, help people to live better, to love better, to be better, and as leaders to lead better. Those are the things that I do. Right. Ralph, good to see you, my guy. Definitely thank you for popping in as well. So what I want to kind of, and so you're going to see kind of this, more of this blend, right? We're talking about the weekly blend. This is not going to turn into Bible study, right? But this is going to be, and this is basically the blending of just the conversations that we have about a variety of things. When, for example, last week was great. We were talking and I was setting you all straight on why LeBron is not the GOAT, right? I know some of you all still need to come to Jesus on that, but we set that straight last week. So the blend is not just me sitting here and you watching me smell fragrance, but the blend is designed to be conversation. It is designed to be fragrance, culture, and conversation. It's going to be all the things that we are, because at the end of the day, we're not just frag heads. Yes, that is the community that we have built, but there's other things that interest us within this community. There's other things that take place in this community that we have to be mindful of. There's things that take place in this community that we need to guard against, right? Because when we're talking community, that word, in my opinion, to me, it comes from common unity. We have a commonality and we are united in those things, right? And so when we do that, we have to protect the community. We have to make sure that the community is exactly how we want it to be. But I'm not going to speak directly to some things. I'm just going to give you, can I give y'all a parable? Can I give you a parable? In fact, let me cut down this music just a little more, because I want to make sure that there's nothing that is intruding upon getting this out. All right, let me give you all a parable real quick, right? One of the things that all of us love about fragrances is that it helps us. It is the way we smell, right? We love to smell good. Now, one of the things we've talked about in community, one of the things we say often is, of course, that it doesn't, all fragrance can do really is help enhance how you smell. If you're foul, fragrance is only going to help to cover it up for so long. If you stink, you're only going to smell decent for a little while of time, until the funk that is in you and on you begins to come out some more, right? And so the fact is that we all have a responsibility, one, to make sure that we're not funky, right? To make sure that we don't smell bad. And so when we're talking about fragrance and the fragrance community, it's our responsibility to make sure that we all smelling good, right? Not just from a real standpoint, but from a character standpoint, from a personality standpoint, from a who you are as a person standpoint. But here's the thing, let's just be honest. And I'm gonna tell myself, there are times, my wife and I, we've been married almost 30 years. We'll celebrate 30 years in May. There have been times where I've come from the gym or what have you, and it's just like we lounging around and she's like, oh no, you need to take a shower. Because what? I stink. Now, because I value who she is in my life, and I don't want to offend her, I make sure that I go do what? I go take a shower. I go make sure I smell good, because I want to stay in her presence. I like being around her. And so therefore, I want to make sure, one, I take the hint that I'm not necessarily smelling really good right now. And I also want to take the hint that I need to do something about it. See, it's one thing to acknowledge or hear that there's something you need to change. It's something else to actually go and do something about it and make the change, all right? And if we're honest, none of us, I believe, in this community, or let me say this, not many of us in the community, not many of us want to smell bad. Again, I'm giving you a parable. Understand where I'm going. Read between the lines. Not many of us want to smell bad. And what happens is that in a community like this, we should be able to have honest conversations with each other and say, hey, right now, I understand you got the Soul Cafe on. I understand you got the Blue Talisman on right now, but there's something else coming up out of you that doesn't smell too good. And because we want to be in community with each other, and because we all want to smell good with each other, and because we don't want to offend each other, we should have that mindset that says, oh, my bad, let me correct that area. Let me go ahead and make sure that I really smell as good as I want to smell. But unfortunately, there are individuals that have come into the community, or an individual, I should say, that came into the community, and let's just be honest, funky. And when you try to tell funky, they act as if they don't smell. Here's the thing. Here's one of the worst things, right? It's one thing to smell and to act as if you don't. But it's another thing to be okay with you smelling bad and trying to convince other people that you smell good. That's insanity. That's craziness. To know you smell bad, people tell you you smell bad, but you try to tell people, oh no, that's just that's my version of Aventus. No, you smell bad. So here's the thing. It's important that we in the community, and one of the things that I've recognized, I've come into this space and I've kind of been like, I've been basically like, listen, I just want to kind of be here, hang out, what have you. But I recognize just who I am, and the leadership that I bring to a lot of things is that at the end of the day, I have a responsibility in this community, just like we all do. Every one of us has a responsibility in this community to say, hey, you okay? You smell good, but there's something else that's coming up out of you that doesn't smell good. And if someone wants to continue to smell that same way, then maybe they don't belong in the community. All right. That's just my parable for the day. Those of you that know. Those of you that don't know, just watch. Just watch how people move. Just watch actions, because actions speak louder than words. I think we all agree, right? Actions speak louder than words. And so for me, I'm just going to tell you, watch my actions. Watch who I hang with or who I mention. Watch who I don't mention. Watch who I talk about, who I don't talk about. Watch who I purposely avoid. Watch the actions. Watch the actions of people that you trust in this community, right? You could trust me. You could trust, I'm going to point to, I don't have an issue with Jim's. I don't have an issue with Walt. I don't have an issue with Jason. I don't have an issue with a lot of you that are on this. I don't have an issue with Rolf. Rolf is solid in the industry and solid as far as I can see right now from just the brief interactions that we've had. But the other piece that I've seen as far as other people that have mentioned and talked with Rolf. But understand, not everyone in the community or that purports to be part of the community is for the community. All right. And yes, that's my parable for the day. If you think I'm just talking about fragrance, go back and rewatch it. All right. That's it for that. All right. I just wanted to share that because, again, at the end of the day, one of the things that you're going to see from me is me taking on a little more of a, I don't want to say leadership because I'm not anybody's leader, right? But I am going to take on more of a vocal approach to things that I see, things that I hear, things that are going on, right? Let me just kind of catch up on the comments. We're going to dig into the comments. Let me kind of go back here. Everybody saying, what's up? What's up? What's up? Fragrance is an accessory. Yes. Fragrance is an accessory, But also, if we're talking about as far as the parable, there are things that people say and do that are an accessory to who they are, but really aren't who they are. Right, Jason says, unfortunately, people don't believe they're funky and think it's the people around them. Yeah, gaslighting. Gaslighting. Man, if you've been married, you get it. Yeah. Appreciate it, JJ Bishop. Just pop in when you can. Yes, sir. Smell like that. Yes. All of these things I'm looking at. Chief of DC, who in this community is stinking it up? Just watch. Just watch. Keep an eye. No blindness is real. Nose blindness is real, and sticky people don't hold themselves accountable. Absolutely. And I'm not just talking about the actual scent of a person. I'm talking about the character. I'm talking about the nature. Simone, I'm not just, I'm really, again, I put the parable up there because if you think about a parable, there's a different meaning behind it. Hopefully you all will go back and think about it. Chief of DC, no, I don't think he's talking about folks in the community with funkiness in their content. I'm not talking about funkiness in the content, maybe in their character and how they operate. Simba says, trust but verify has always been my motto in all things that matter. Yep. Absolutely. Chief of DC, folks coming in the community smelling funky with the content they put out. Not just content, bruh. Not just content. Not just content. This is a lot of people that smell bad don't even realize it because they have gone nose blind to their own smell. Or they believe their stuff don't stink. Yep. Fortunately, we have to let wheat and tear grow together. Absolutely. Just call me lasagna. I know I'm speaking in parables and riddles right now. Those that know me and those that have my number, y'all can reach out, of course. But yeah. All right. That it? All right. So that's pretty much it. You mean they show who they are under their mask? You're getting there, Joe. You're getting there, Joel. Yes. Yes. Perfume is the mask for who they really are. What's going on, man? What's going on, my guy? I knew you would get that walk. All right, so that's it. If you got it, you got it. If you don't, take it at face value. But my caution to everyone is watch and listen. Watch actions, watch how people move. Be mindful and just watch. Not everything has to be said. Some things you just have to watch. Okay. All right, let's jump in now. So one of the things that, again, with this, I wanted to, again, bring attention to, just kind of space to, is to have conversations, right? If we're talking the weekly blend, one of the things is we just talk about a variety of things. One of the things that that has been just out there is, how many of y'all know the phrase or the tenderism, right? It's an older guy that is at a barbecue spot, and the meat is supposed to be falling off the bone. Tenderism. If you know that phrase, if you're familiar with Mr. Tenderism or whatever his name is, if you're familiar with that, put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you're familiar with the guy who is responsible for tenderism, right? Put a 1 in the chat if you know about my guy with tenderism. All right, see a couple of ones. Maybe catching up. All right. See a bunch of ones. Good. See Chief of DC. Yeah, the barbecue story is crazy tenderism. Yes. So tenderism. So he is this older gentleman that kind of was on a couple of TikToks and things as far as just the meat falling off the bone. Now, I'm gonna just say this. As somebody who smokes on a pretty regular basis, I got a nice big pellet smoker under my out in my backyard. I smoke. I know how to do work on the grill and on the smoker. In fact, I've said it, and I have people that can attest to it. I made a vegetarian go back to eating meat. I know how to do stuff on the grill and on the smoker. Some of what y'all calling tenderism is really overcooked, but that's a whole other story. That's a whole other thing. As far as some of that stuff that is tenderism is just overcooked, right? But that's not the story, right? That's not the story. Here's the thing. Wait, what I miss? Read the room. Okay, maybe I missed something. All right. So as far as my guy, tenderism, one of the things that recently happened was Keith Lee, who is a food content creator, goes around to different places and, tastes their food, rates it, what have you. There's a place here in Arizona where the lady said that the bakery was just horrible and trash. Keith Lee went there. It was phenomenal. My wife and I have been there. It's phenomenal. So Keith Lee went to the restaurant, which is called Destination Smokehouse, I think it is, and basically tried the food. First of all, we saw kind of why some things are quote unquote tenderism, because they sliced the back of the bone, which is cheating in many respects. But he was trying to get with Mr. I forgot his name, but he was trying to get with the older Black gentleman who is the face of tenderism and what have you, and who is kind of coined the phrase. Wasn't able to do that. He was trying to give him money as far as a tip. Wasn't able to do that. So now there's this thing where Destination Smokehouse, we find out that Mr. Tenderism is not really the owner of it. He's the head of marketing as far as what it's put. So there was a video that my wife shared with me earlier today, and I want to kind of talk through some things from it, just because I think there's some lessons for us as it relates to those of us that create content, but also I think there's some lessons for us, those of us just from a standpoint of whatever you do, there's some lessons to take away. And I want to offer that up to you. All right. Let's get this. Let me cut my music down completely. That way you all can hear it. All right. All right, take a listen to this.
And why Mr. Tenderism is being treated the way that he's being treated. We're going to take this thing all the way back to 2019 before COVID, right? So Nick's father owned a coffee shop, right? His father passed away. Nick took over the coffee shop, named it Destination Coffee Bar. So one day, Walter Johnson, aka Mr. Tenderism, him and his wife came into the establishment and they were talking to Nick's mom, right? And so they were telling Nick's mom, he's from New Orleans, he makes this great gumbo, et cetera, et cetera. So Nick asks his mom, who is she talking to? She tells him, this is an older gentleman, he makes great gumbo, he's from New Orleans, et cetera, et cetera. The following day, Mr. Tenderism, aka Mr. Johnson, shows up at the coffee bar. Before the shop is even open, he is standing out there with a chef jacket on. And Nick is like, yo, what are you doing? I haven't talked this over with my mom yet. Let me talk this over with my mom, and we'll call you back tomorrow. Nick calls him back. He starts working at the coffee shop. He starts making his gumbo. They start selling the gumbo at the coffee shop. Couple months pass, COVID happens, right? So they shut down for 2 months. They reopen, and Walter, aka Mr. Tenderism, has this idea that they should start selling barbecue out the coffee shop. After they started selling barbecue at the coffee shop, fast forward 2 years later, they take coffee off the menu completely because the barbecue was selling so well. Now, fast forward a couple years from that point to the point we're at today. It's no longer Destination Coffee Bar. It is Destination Smokehouse. He's the owner. His mother is clearly the co-owner. Mr. Tenderism is an employee. Even in this interview, he says he's responsible for marketing. Now, don't get me wrong, he gives him a lot of credit in this interview. He also credits him on some type of situation that him and his wife were having that Mr. Tenderism was able to help him with. So now it makes sense why Destination Smokehouse moves the way that they move. It's because he volunteered his services to this man. And in return, this man made millions off of him. Now I finally understand the full picture. Now I don't even care no more. That man did that to himself. All them great ideas that you had that you was giving this man, he took it and capitalized on it. And you still remained an employee, no matter what. Or excuse me, head of marketing. That's why you don't see Mr. Tenderism in the videos no more, no nothing. Mr. Tenderism back home. We don't need you no more. We got the product, we got the recipe, we making the meats. We don't need you no more. Now it all makes sense.
All right. So the purpose of that was to really just help to bring up the point. Some of us, I'll even throw myself into this. Some of us have been underestimating and undervaluing what we bring to the table. And some people have taken that, they see what we can do, they see, and they use that for their benefit, throwing you a piece when you really could own the whole pie. So I just want to kind of talk through the fact that this, in the year 2026, this is the year that you go get what's yours because you have the ability to do it. I'm in a situation right now where my wife and I took some steps based upon something that we thought was going to take place. Didn't pan out the way we thought it was going to take place, but we're looking at it now saying, well, what that person was trying to get together, why can't we do that? Why can't I put together some things that would, because my wife and I, we've talked about business, we've talked about owning businesses, we've talked about doing a variety of things as far as entrepreneurship. We've talked about it for a number of years. This is the year that I'm going to encourage you, just like I'm encouraging myself. Stop submitting your ideas, your talent, your gifts, your abilities, your expertise to other people for them to profit off of while you just are simply an employee. All right. The fact is that in that Tenderism story, it's kind of irritating and frustrating because he's the one, if I'm understanding, he has the recipe. He's the one that does the cook. He's the pit master, or whatever it may be. He does all of the things, or at least did all of the things that basically put that place on the map. Right. But imagine if he had just said, I'm going to start this myself. What if he, because again, I recognize you need a job, you need income, you need those things. But what if he worked part-time and just gave them the gumbo recipe, but then went ahead and worked on the barbecue on his own time? What would be the significance to him for making that move? Because some of the things that happen, some of the things that we do is we put a lot of our efforts into making other people's dreams come true. We make other people's visions come true. And then we're stuck living a nightmare. All right. So that's kind of what I wanted to just kind of touch on today, because at the end of the day, if we're honest, all of us have skills, all of us have gifts, all of us have talents. The question is, are they something that you can go ahead and put to use for yourself, or does it just have to stay being worked for someone else? I'm going to go ahead and jump into the comments, see where y'all at, see what we're talking. I see Lachey is doing something in the comments because I'm seeing her name a lot. So Lachey, what you doing down there? Smell Good Chronicles, you made a vegetarian relapse. Yes, I am that nice on the grill and on the smoker. I am that nice. Yes, I am that nice. Yep. Been smoking for a while and have tried different techniques and have never seen meat fall off the bone like that. That's because if you look at Keith Lee's scenario, if you look at what he did, he said that the meat was cut on the back already. So yeah, it was basically nothing holding it because the meat was already cut on the back, right? Now, for you to get meat that really falls off that tender, typically you're overcooking it. Every rib should have a little bite, a little pull to it. I'm helping all y'all that smoke meats or that want to learn how to smoke meats and do on the grill. Your barbecue, your ribs should have a little pull. Not saying they got to be tough, but there should be a little pull when you bite into it. It shouldn't just melt in your mouth and fall off. It's overcooked then. All right. JJ Bishop says, on scent, sometimes I'm looking for a fragrance layer with a gourmand fragrance to balance the sweetness. Open to suggestions. So hopefully someone has that for him. Rob says, Costco tenderizes their meat, especially beef and pork. It's not healthy to buy those cuts. If you buy beef or pork, buy the whole cut. Otherwise, the tenderizer machine is contaminated. Rob, listen, there's a lot of stuff that when we really dig into a lot of things that happen in our food supply chain, yeah, I don't want to over spiritualize, but listen, I'm like, God, you got to do what you got to do. All right. Lachey is in the building. Yes. Walt says the whole story's been pissing me off because people talking about the owners profiting off of him. These are the same people that go to work every day. That's my point, right? There's two sides to that, right? There's the side that, yes, they're talking about the owners profiting off of him, and people that are talking about that, yes, they are going to work. But I think one of the things that we have to recognize, and especially in this year, there's no reason not to have a side hustle of some kind if you want to. If you don't want to, this ain't for you. This conversation is not for you. But if you want to have a side hustle of some kind, there's too many options. There's too many ways, right? You gotta figure out if not everyone is built for the entrepreneur life. I get that. For some of us, it's just doing something that kind of puts a little extra money in your pocket. But you have to make that mindset. And I think what I want to make sure I'm doing tonight as part of the weekly blend is helping for those that are on the sideline wanting to get in the game. Let this be an encouragement to get in the game. I'm not saying you got to go and do a full-on run down the yard, and score a touchdown, but at least make some progress, right? At least figure out what your strategy is going to be for this year. And if you have the ability to be like Mr. Walter, whatever his name was, and create something that somebody else can profit off of, why not go ahead and profit off of it yourself? That's my thought. All right. JJ Bishop said, an old man told me eventually the devil always do something to reveal his true nature. Going back to my original thing, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's see what else. Chief of DC sounds like the guy that invented filament for the light bulbs. Correct. Thomas Edison was not the actual inventor. Yep. Rob says, many of you here are talented. You just have to believe in yourself. It's easy to say, but leaving things for tomorrow is too damn late. Rolf, listen. In fact, Rolf, I need to reach out. We need to touch base because I need to get you on because we need to go through those Jershofs, but definitely want to hear more of your story. But listen, at the end of the day, everyone has a gift and it has a talent. One of the persons that I've had an opportunity to, and again, it's the church world, Dr. Miles Monroe, and I know it's been said by other people as well, but one of the things that I remember hearing him saying very clearly and many times was the wealthiest place on the earth is the graveyard, because there are so many unwritten books, unwritten songs, unstarted businesses, unstarted inventions. There are so many things that have died with people that it's the wealthiest place on the earth. And so I want to encourage you, don't die with what's in you. Don't leave the earth with what's in you. Right? Lachey, I think you were cooking. Was it last night on Walt's Live? I don't know if that's your thing, but if that's your thing, lean into it. Whatever your thing is, lean into it. Whatever that thing is that you have that's a gift and a talent, don't not share it with the world, but also figure out how that can become your thing. Again, I'm not saying everybody has to have a six-figure business. I'm not saying everyone has to have a multi-million-dollar LLC, S Corp, what have you. But there are some things that are inside of you that you are sitting there and sitting on, and you're afraid to push them out. This is a year to begin to push things out. This is a year to begin to push things out. Not saying that the end of the year you're going to be completely where you want to be, but if you start today, you'll be further along than you were yesterday, right? So I want to encourage you. Yes, as Rolf, my guy Rolf says, there are many talents within this circle, this community right here. And the weekly blend is again, it's fragrance, community, or fragrance, culture, and conversation. And we're going to have these conversations from time to time. But there are things that are in each of you that may not be fragrance related, but this is what we're talking about. And the fact that you enjoy fragrance is what brought you here to hear me give you some encouragement today. Maybe that's what it is. But there are so many things that are inside of people that what you've got to do is make sure that you do not, like Marv said, leave them for tomorrow. Work today. Make a step today. Even if it's just getting a strategy today. If you leave this live tonight and you are, sit in front of your computer, get at least the start of a strategy. It may not be the full plan. Get something, right? Let's go. What else? Just speaking. Yes. Listen, you're all going to hear me lean more into. I know, again, I'm not trying to make this Bible study on fragrances. I'm not trying to do that. That's not my goal here. But there are things that are inside of me that are going to come out even more because I'm not going to hold them back. So you're going to get the prophetic side of me sometimes too, right? So those things are going to come there and you're going to hear that. And you just got to either receive it or move on. It's on you. All right. Hey, start a cooking channel. Listen, whatever it may be, right? Keith said it was cut. And I've seen another video show that. Yes, absolutely. That's what it was. Yes. Let's see what else we got going on. You're a winner. Yeah, folks was thinking about your sauce. Let's see. Fact, same thing in Houston with the turkey leg, but that's why it ended in violence. That's a whole other story. Yeah, if I remember that Houston turkey leg story, weren't they the ones that it was like just shady business left and right with them? I think that's what that was. If I remember correctly, that was some shady business too. Shady business just seems to happen, and people kind of find themselves in different communities doing shady business. But it's okay. Tentball said, in a just world, he'd be promoted to partner, but fairness isn't the game. This is dog eat dog arena, and only the fittest survives. Absolutely. Agreed, which is why find ways to protect yourself. Find your ways to protect yourself or get what's owed to you. Shay, where's it? Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Fragrance content and creating fragrance products for me, it's in the works. Good. I definitely want to hear about that. I want to see more of that. There may be some things, I'm just going to tell you, there's some things that I'm thinking through right now as far as you may be seeing from me as well. You may see some things as far as products. You're going to see some digital products, some physical products from me. I'm kind of strategizing all those things out. There are other avenues and other lanes that I operate in too. So AI is something that I've operated in. If you look at if you look at the part of actually the opening video, that's AI. So I operate in that. So I operate in AI for churches, I operate in AI for leaders, and I may start operating in AI for businesses, right? So these are things that you're going to see even more of from me. But yeah, whatever you have in the works, get it going. Get it going. All SIP women, for the most part, cook, Kevin. She country. That's right. She's from Mississippi. Yeah. Yeah. Good encouraging. Shay, you can do cooking oil, body oil. Okay. Listen. Let's see what else we got. Fact, Shannon Sharp with Skip Bayless. People love how UNC Ankh cooked, how Ankh, aka Shannon, argued with Skip. Fox dropped the ball by letting Shannon go when he was on the upside of becoming a household name. Yeah, and all it took, remember, for Shannon Sharp, all it took was one interview with Cat Williams. that broke the internet. And now Shannon, I think he said that one video made him so much that it was crazy. So you never know what opportunity is going to come because of a step that you take that may look like a failure, it may look like you failed, it may look like things went wrong, but it may be your setup for success. I remember, I forget who it was, but there was a pastor who used to say, your setback is a setup for your comeback. I know I could put my preacher voice, I could do my hooping on that, but sometimes your setback really is a setup for your comeback, period, point blank, right? I know it sounds, but yes, at the end of the day, sometimes the things that that seem like a failure, sometimes the things that seem like were a setback, sometimes the things that seem like, oh God, what happened, are really just setting you up for the next success. I'm in that right now. I have something that's happened that looks like a failure. It looks like a problem. It looks like an issue, but I'm actually very much encouraged right now that by the end of this story, when I can tell you the fullness of this story, yeah, it might even be a movie. Yeah. All right. Yes, they were crooks and criminals. Yes. Yeah. So yeah. Every industry seems to have that. Every industry seems to have that. It's in the church, it's in food, it's in fragrance, it's in TV, it's in what else? In barbers. It's every industry has crooks and criminals. Period. Point blank. All right, Fox helps Shannon with the Shay Shay Media. Okay. Rob Knox says, I lost my leg 2 years ago. I have an outlook now of find your purpose and every day is a gift. I also learned that people's true intentions show. Absolutely, my guy. Listen, sometimes it takes something that is tragic. Let's just be honest, something that is tragic to really help to recalibrate how you view things, right? Yes, the tragedy of losing your leg could have put you into a funk. It could have put you into a place where you were just like, oh, woe was me for the rest of your life. But you have a new outlook that says, no, there's something else out there. The fact that it was only your leg, and I don't want to minimize that it was your leg, but the fact that that was what it was, but your life is still moving forward. That right there is the important piece, that you still have the ability to live your life, to find purpose, to have value, and to create value, and to provide value for others, right? And yes, people's true intentions will show. Absolutely. Back to my parable. At some point, you're going to smell the real person. At some point, I don't care how much of an oversprayer they are. I don't care how much of a gaslighter they are. At some point, you're going to smell the real person. At some point, the person's real character, real nature is going to come out and expose itself. Jill says, hey, Shay Shay is too freaky for Fox. All right. Everybody at Fox freaky gyms. Jay Taylor exposed them dudes. Yeah. All right. One thing I appreciate about the Asian community is that they have a pool they pitch into and gives everybody an opportunity to start a business. It's not just the Asian community. My cousin was married to a woman from, I want to say, Pakistan many years back. They're no longer together, but they used a model. That particular family and group used a model where they all just they basically got a house together and basically got a business together. And then, as you know, whoever was next in line, once that business was up and running and then could go on, then they helped them, the next family, start a business and get their house. And then everybody kind of worked between the two businesses and the two houses. And they did that, and they kept kind of doing that whole process until everybody in that family had a business and a house that was profitable, right? So yes, there has to be that ability, right? We've joked about how, our kids, because I have two grown kids. My daughter is finishing up in school. My son is in his career. And we joked about how when they was 18, they getting out the house. But in actuality, we were both, for both kids, it was like, if you need to be here until you get settled and get on your feet and get to do what you need to do, stay here. Yes, they had to. My son was the one who was staying with us for a little while after he decided not to finish up in college and wanted to move into his career. He stayed with us for a while, and he paid us a little rent, but that rent was going to help him so that when he was ready to go out on his own, he could have that. So we got to get out of this mentality of, I got mine, now you got to get yours. We got to get out of this mentality of, especially with our kids, especially with the next generation, you got to provide space and place for them to be successful. And if that means that they're in your house a little longer, as long as they're working, as long as they're contributing, that's good. Now, if they're not working, if they're not contributing, that's a whole other story, right? But at the end of the day, I think there's a responsibility to help set up the next generation for success. All right. Producer says, I'm in the right place. Ref Kev is cooking, food for thought. We can all do the dishes. Yes. So yes, again, I'm glad you're here. This is going to be a place that's not going to be all fragrance content. You get enough videos of me smelling stuff. This is going to be conversation, right? Twizzy, yes, it was 3 partners and the guy left knowing the recipe and opened his own business, and allegedly the part owner burned his place down. I remember hearing about that. Yes, I remember that. All right. Lachey says, I'm gonna have to become a silent watcher because what is happening in here? Y'all leave Lachey alone. Leave her alone. All right, wait, she know how to keep her mouth shut. What did I miss? Yeah, Joy was there were some interesting things happening with Joy. Yep. Wait, Kev, what you cooking up over there? I need to get my coins ready. Again, just call me lasagna. Just call me lasagna right now. All right. Just call me lasagna. Shout out to Lil Wayne. All right. We get so much further helping each other. Absolutely. And that's part of this thing with the community, right? That's part of this thing with this community. Is if we're a community, that means that if you got a thing going on that I can support, and there's a difference in supporting just to support and supporting because you know what, I want to make sure I just want to do it out of obligation, right? In other words, what I'm saying is this: there are some things that I don't necessarily need in my life. So I support you as far as I want you to be successful, but I may not purchase from you. However, if I'm looking for example, because I have a beard, so I need to, while I'm working on some things, I need to get some beard oil and some beard products. So Fetty is part of the community, right? I consider Fetty part of the community. I connected with him at Scent Explore. So rather than sending my money to someplace else, I ordered from Fetty because I want Fetty to succeed, right? So if Lachey, if you are doing a cooking, or you said oils and what have you, if you do oils, then yeah, when I'm ready to get some oils, I know Lachey is one of the folks that I can reach out to, right? If somebody has an online store and they got good prices, right? Now I'm not gonna pay the tax of knowing you and make me spend more than I would elsewhere, right? I'm not going to do that. So, to put it in our context, if let's say one of us starts an online store, right? And let's say, just because we can all talk about prices as far as, like, let's say we know that Lattafa normally online is going to go initially about $50. But if your online store costs $80 for Lattafa, I want you to succeed, but I'm not going to pay the tax of me wanting you to succeed because you haven't priced right? So there is the dual side of, yes, I want to support, but you got to make it make sense as well, right? So we all got to support each other. We all got to figure out ways to help each other. I know Walt put out the thought of a meetup someplace. There's some things that may be, in the works as far as some things. So we, as a community, as far as this cul-de-sac, this side of the community, I'm all for, let's communicate, let's figure out what's going on, and let's help each other. But that also means, hear me, that also means that you got to make sure going back to my original parable, you got to make sure that you ain't funky. You got to make sure that your character is good. You got to make sure that how you operate is in a way that I have no problem supporting you and telling other people to support you as well. Right? Absolutely. So, absolutely. All right. Support is more than financial too. Absolutely. It is. It is. There's ways to get, there is the financial piece of it. There is sometimes it is if there's something that I can help with, and it's going to be that little tweak. For example, I know who was it? Jim's reached out to me about something. I just gave him a little quick nugget, a little quick tip that might be helpful for him as far as what he does. Right. So sometimes it's not just financial. Sometimes it's a little piece of information. Now, I'm not saying give away all your information for free, but if there's something that you can give somebody that's just going to be a little tweak to help them to that next level, do that. All right. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. That's good. I like that. I like that. Yeah. I like that. Rob says, what about a Zoom meetup? That may be a start to some things, but there's something about just being in vicinity with each other. I know for me, Scent Explorer was just amazing. I really enjoyed Scent Explorer. I really enjoyed just, again, in the community with people. It was good to actually shake hands with Walt, shake hands with Mo, shake hands with John, shake hands with Jims, right? I was about to call him Bowtie Jr., but to shake hands with Jims, right? It was good to do that. Why? Because we see each other on screens all the time, right? But it's good to also be in the same space with people and shaking hands. And then it was good that some people were actually coming up to some of us and were like, man, I just watched you. I appreciate you. It really helped me for me to see that even though I'm talking to a camera, there are actually people that are digging what I'm saying, that are actually feeling what I'm saying, and actually, enjoying the content, what have you. So there will be probably some times where we may do a kind of Zoom meetup just as it is, but there will be some times also it's like, listen, we're gonna hit up a city, we're gonna go there, we're gonna turn up, we're gonna have fun, we're gonna smell some stuff, and then go home. But again, we're gonna build community. All right. Marlon says to Kevin, salute my guy. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping through. Tweezy said, Mr. Tenderism should learn something from this being the face of the company he don't own. Even the owners learn something about something. Also contract these people. Both need lawyers. Yeah. See, here's the thing. I'm in a place right now, for me, I'm not going to give more effort to someone else's dream than I'm willing to give to mine. I'm not going to give more to someone else's benefit than I do to mine. The last company that I worked for, and it was time to leave anyway, right? But the last company I worked for, it was like, okay, yeah, I see where y'all at. The owner, who was in and out when he wanted to be in and out, was basically like, I need people that work 80 hours a week, 60, 80 hours a week. Those are the people that are successful here. And I'm like, sir, 60, 80 hours a week? I got wife. I have life. I have other things that I want to do. I'm not giving that so you can sell the company and you can go basically live someplace else. Not doing that. Right. So you got to make sure, again, that you don't put more into someone else's dream, into someone else's vision than you do for yourself. Right. That's why when you're on the airplane, what they tell you, right? Put the mask on your face first. And then if you got to help somebody else, put the mask on their face. If you got a kid, put the mask on their face first. Because I can't effectively help you if I'm struggling myself. Right. So you got to make sure that you are not putting more effort into someone else's dream, into someone else's vision, into someone else's thing when you're struggling. Right. Sounds great. Meet up and build a community is a great thing. Absolutely. We're going to see that. We're going to do some more of that. Absolutely. People will take advantage of your talent, time, and experience if you let them. Absolutely. That's why I played that at the beginning, as far as or not the beginning, but I played as far as Mr. Tenderism, because at the end of the day, again, I just go to the fact that what if he had started his own thing? What, it might not have been a full-on restaurant. What if he just started a food truck? There are people that are in where I live in Phoenix. There are people that out of their house cook, and they have people just come to their street and pick up the food, because they advertise it on Instagram, they sell it through Instagram, what have you, and they get it going that way. What if you just do that, starting where you're at? Yeah, it would be great. Can I? Because I'm gonna tip my hand a little. I'm gonna tip my hand just a little. It would be great if I could start with a fragrance brand day one, with bottles, with all of the things that I want to have, as far as beard stuff, as far as body butters, as far as other things that would be within the space, even air fresheners of smell goods. Right? It would be great if I started day one with that. But the chances of me starting day one that way are very, very minimal. But is there some things that I could get started with today, so that 6 months from now we can add another product, and 6 months later we can add four more products, and then maybe 2 to 3 years we've got a full-on line, a full-on business that allows me to just simply go on a cruise when I want to go on a cruise, because my team is handling stuff. But we sometimes want to start the way that it looks, or start based upon the end result. And sometimes you just got to take that first step, right? I tell you all, for me right now, where I'm at right now, as far as even this channel, I didn't think that I would be this place where I am now when I first started, but it did start with me doing that first video. If you want to see crazy, go back and look at my first video. My first video is me doing, and I'm leaving it up there because for me it's a reminder. But my first video, I did a review of a little sample that I got, a carded sample that I got from YSL for YSL Elixir. That was my very first video. Didn't I now my camera, some people will look at and be like, your camera setup was nice. Yes, because if you want to go back even further, if you want to see the very first video that I did as a content creator, you'll have to go to, in fact, I'll put it in the chat here. You'll have to go to, my wife and I don't do it anymore. But we had a channel called Conversations with the Crawleys. Go to this channel and look at that very first video. Look at that very first video. That's where I started my content creation journey as far as YouTube. And so now what you see here is after much trial and error. It is after taking this same room that I'm in, and it's been through probably 3 or 4 at least different iterations, right? Even where I'm sitting has shifted a couple of times within this same room, because I had to figure out what I wanted to do. So I'm saying that to say this, that just start is the important piece. And once you start, you can figure out where to make those adjustments, where you can make those moves, where you need to make those changes as you go along. But you got to start someplace. You got to start someplace. All right. Yes, sir, Marion, you got to know your worth. You have to. Because here's the interesting part. I'll just say the interesting part. Sometimes people know your worth more than you do, and they'll use your worth to their advantage while you are struggling, not figuring out your worth. And even as I say this, hear me, I'm preaching to myself right now. I'm preaching to myself. So y'all are getting what I'm preaching to myself right now. Sometimes people will know your worth before you do, and they'll want to use and exploit and take advantage of your worth to their advantage, while you sitting there struggling and thinking you're not that valuable. You know your worth. And even if you don't know your exact worth, inflate your worth. All right. All right, Simone. Make it happen. DJ Bishop, I've always also been in the cigar aficionado community a long time. In general, the funk is simply not tolerated. Yeah, exactly. We gotta take care of the funk when it's in the community. Yep. Marion Frank says, it kills me to see my people working ain't Aunt Jamie style, and they are the engine of somebody else's business. I saw a restaurant have its success off of 3 generations of the same fam doing the cooking. Listen, uh, my mom's potato salad. And if I ever wanted to start up a barbecue place, I don't think I'm ever going to do that. But if I wanted to ever start that up, my son knows. My son has got some of my recipes that he at least has in the back of his head if he wants to ever take anything and do with it. But I have my mom's potato salad recipe. My kids know how to make my mom's potato salad. If you've ever had my mom's potato salad, you know. All right. In fact, every time my family gets together, there's a request from my mom to make potato salad. So you got to pass those things down to there's nothing wrong with passing things down, passing information down. Now, if your kids don't do it or choose not to do it, that's fine. I'm not going to force my kids to go into the same thing I go into, but at least provide the opportunity for them to do that. All right. The Rock is in the building. And am I coming back to Houston anytime soon? So I know I just got the information. I have a pastor's meeting coming up sometime in March that will probably put me in Houston. But I don't know what my schedule is going to look like. It'll probably be kind of in and out, but definitely, if you're with me on Instagram, definitely I can let you know. Maybe we can connect, what have you. But that's the only thing I know as far as Houston right now for 2026 so far. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Are we going to get a name to associate with Wolf on Sheep's Clothing? I don't want to be a sheep. I aspire to be a shepherd. Are we going to get a name to associate with the wolf on Sheep's Clothing? So again, like I said, Peter Procure, just watch. Just watch associations. Just watch who. If I'm your guy, watch who I associate with. Watch who I don't associate with. Watch the names that I mention. Watch the names I no longer mention. Watch the people that I'm connected to and who they talk to and talk about, right? Actions speak louder than words, simply put. And if you have questions about an individual, ask questions. Feel free to ask questions, because asking questions will get you a lot of answers. Ask questions. Yes, sir. So yes, Unc had his own food truck, called it Tenderism. That would have been crazy. Yes, Destination already was exposed for cutting the meat. It wasn't even tender. Unc was trending with that fall off bone. Yes. If he had had Tenderism as a food truck, he could have had 3 or 4 food trucks, people running food trucks. Unc could have been sitting at home watching the football game. Yes, sir. Dream, good to see you. All right, Twizzy, we might now, because there is that thing that I've seen, and I forgot who was talking about it, but there is that Houston Frank Con thing that I see. I'm just a little leery of that. And the reason for it is because it says it's at the arena, but when I looked on the arena's calendar and schedule, it wasn't there. It wasn't showing that it was available. So if you have the space already set and you've already put money into it and you already have it secured, it should be on their calendar, right? Because there are things that are before and after that thing. So that's why I'm a little leery, right? Because who's putting it on? You haven't started registration that I can tell just yet. So it sounds like you're trying to get people to show up, but you got to do that behind the scenes, right? If you're trying to get vendors as far as brands to show up, you gotta talk to them behind the scenes. And as far as people, as long as you give us enough time to get there, then we'll show up. But right now, it's making me look at it like, hey, I'm not even looking at that time right now because you don't have a venue that I can tell. That I can tell. I don't know what brands are supposed to be there. So what I would not, what I would hate to happen is people fly in for that, and there's two brands there, right? Because here's the thing: not everything has to start off big. Not everything has to start off major. It could be just if Houston, because Houston I know has a fragrance community. Houston has, I'm trying to think which is it, Aura, that's in Houston. I know there's another spot in Houston. As far as connect with them, if there are some fragrance content creators, do something in Houston and use that as the model. And then next year, draw people to Houston off the success of the 5 content creators, the 2 major stores, and the 3 brands that are Houston or even out of, because is it Native that's in Louisiana? Bring Native over into to Houston. Have him showcase his stuff. Find other, do something like that and grow it. It doesn't have to be big where you are getting Facebook ads and you're just, blasting out that you've got this fragrance conference going on and nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows who's going to be there. And again, like I mentioned, we don't know if you actually have the venue you say you have, right? Mo, what's good to see you, my guy? Good to see you. I'm gonna text you probably tomorrow some things. Yeah, just to kind of catch you up. I know you know, but just to catch you up. Yeah, it looked like a scam. It did, Twizzy. It looked like a scam. It looked like because it was just I just started seeing it like right after Scent Explore. And it was just like something don't seem right. In fact, I think it's the NRG Arena. I'm gonna look right now. The NRG Stadium, yeah. Because you can go, here's the thing, you can go on that stadium and you can see what events they have for the year. And it's supposed to be in August, I think, right? So I'm gonna share this real quick just so you all can see. This is why you gotta make sure you do stuff right. Give me just a second here. All right, so this is the NRG Park website, right? NRG Park, events and tickets. They got the Houston Automotive Show. They got Monster Energy Supercross. They got George Lopez, right? I should see FragCom or whatever it's called in here. And I know it's supposed to be in August sometime, right? So let's get down. We in March. Nothing in March, of course. Nothing in April. Let's get down here. We got the World Cup happening in June into July. We got Abilities Expo and we got AC/DC Power Up Tour. He ain't got the space yet, or not he. They don't have the space already. So don't tell me you got a space and you don't have a space, because that just leads to scams. That leads to me feeling like it's a scam, right? Because here, can we be honest? Some people would, if he had put tickets out already, because I'm not sure if they have tickets out already, but some people would be buying tickets off the strength of, oh man, I'm gonna go to that. Listen, it's not even trust but verify. It's verify, ask questions, and then give a little trust and grow in that trust. That's the season we're in right now. Verify, ask questions, give a little trust, and build that trust. All right. But yeah, so I'm looking at that and I'm like, it would be great because I want other events like Scent Explore. I had an amazing time at Scent Explore. I loved Scent Explore. But there's some things that I would love to see out of Scent Explore. There's some things I think could make Scent Explore even better. But maybe it's time to do something that doesn't rely on someone else doing Scent Explore. Maybe there's something else that can be done. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we talked that Houston event. Yes, sir. I ain't flying anywhere without details. Listen, I'm not flying anywhere without details or without a backup plan. All right. Because because can I be honest? In the church, when we talking, you being flued out for places or you going to preach someplace, there's questions that we ask now. In fact, I think I still have it on my website, but there's questions that we ask. What event is it? What's the theme? What's the attire? How many people do you expect to be there? Is there an honorarium? All those are questions that we want to ask before we step out someplace. Likewise, in this space, we asking questions in 2026. Yes, sir. So, okay, Mo says, yeah, I've been talking to her some. They've signed a few niche brands, but still waiting to put some stuff out there. Okay. So Mo, I'm gonna trust you on that. That if you tell me that they got things together, then maybe that's a different conversation. But right now, yeah, you put out stuff and I'm not feeling good about it. All right. She's gonna miss out a lot. It's about to be February. Yeah. Looking at flights and hotels to Dallas. I'm on the way. Sounds good. Yeah. The Rocket looked built. It did look janky. It definitely did. All right. All right. Good deal. Good deal. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, because we need to be buying tickets already. Need to go ahead and release their dates. Yes. Especially if it's gone before Thanksgiving, gonna be before Thanksgiving. Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I know for me, I was looking at just because of how things are looking right now. I think Scent Explorer, well, not think Scent Explorer is definitely going to be a definitive for this year. I'm going to try and make I was looking at Glamcation because it's close to me. I'm in Phoenix, so LA is like a 6-hour drive away. But I'm also now looking at what may happen for ASD. We'll see. But March, that's where I may be in Houston at that time. So we'll see. But yeah, let's get out. Let's get out, hang out. Let's put nose on stuff. Let's touch grass. Let's do all that fun stuff. Twizzy said, wait till the last minute. Yeah, just don't be trying to show up, because there were some people that showed up to Scent Explorer like Saturday afternoon at like 3:00. They were paying to get in, and it ended at 6. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. All right. Yeah, we got to do another event for sure. Definitely. It was fun. It was good to connect. It was a good time out and about. Absolutely. So, all right. So let me take down this tenderism just because I gave my thoughts on that. I gave my ideas on that, what have you. Let's just kind of see. All right. So that's it that I've got pretty much far as just what I wanted to talk about today. I think that's it. I'm going to try and I know we've got February coming up, so we got Black History Month coming up. So there's some things that I've got in the works. I want to try and have some conversations with some folks, especially during the month of February, see how that goes. Trying to think what else to put you all onto as far as things. I'm getting my membership offers together. I do have my first level of membership. I have a second level of membership that's going to be coming for the channel probably by the end of this week or early next week. So be on the lookout for that. There's some interesting things I want to do with the memberships here on YouTube. And then, of course, pay attention to all of the description links, because there's some stuff in there that is, one, going to help save you some money, but also help to support the channel. I think that's it that I got for y'all. Let's just kind of make sure. Any questions? We're just hanging out for a little bit here. Salute. Yes, my friend. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, that's it I've got. I gave you my parable. And we talked tenderism. And again, if you take nothing away from this, one, let's keep the community, and let's protect the community. Ask questions where you need to ask questions. Give words of advice or wisdom where you need to give words of advice or wisdom. Let's make this community everything it can be, or at least on this side of the cul-de-sac. We can let the other cul-de-sacs, we can let the other neighborhoods operate that how they operate. But this, I really enjoy coming on, talking with you all. I enjoy being in the chats of other folks' lives like Walt and like and like Mo and some of the other folks and Jims and what have you. Let's protect this community. Let's make sure that this community is all that it can be and should be, and make sure we let each other know if there's some foulness going on. We address it. All right. All right. Let's see. Tweety said, I finally got on the restock Forbidden Temptation. Shout out to the bow tie. You mean Jim's or you mean bow tie? All right. That's it that I have this evening. Wheelchair Mafia 6111. Hey, what's up? Hey, you coming in? But hey, listen, make sure you go back and watch. Make sure you're part of the replay gang. There's a lot of stuff that was said here that will be helpful for you as part of the community, but also helpful for you just hopefully as part of life, right? We're going to do this. We're going to keep going on. Marion, love to hear chat. Yep. Appreciate the live. No problem, David. Good to see you as well. All right, listen, folks, that's it. I appreciate each and every one of you. I already ate dinner. I just got to go hang with the wife now. So y'all have a good one. Be blessed. And y'all stay easy, right? And stay smelling good, right? I say it all the time. Stay safe, stay sane, and stay smelling good. All right, let's break out.